Welcome to Dreams Modified but Not Deterred. I'm Judith. A desert is a dry area that receives little precipitation or water that's available for plants or other organisms. Are you feeling like you are in a desert? Many of us at some point in our lives will have the feeling that we're in a desert. That may mean that your dreams, your desires feel like they're being standstill, feel like they're not being grown. You feel a sense of complacency. You feel a sense of stagnance. You feel like you can't breathe. You feel like you're suffocating. You have a sense of worry. You have a deep sense of the desire for freedom, for change in scenery. That's your desert. If you think about the actual desert, you think about the temperature is very hot, or it can also be very cold. Yes, I actually learned that there are cold deserts as well, which mean year round, that is the actual temperature. There's also wildlife. Yes, there are actually wildlife that lives in the desert. Mammals, amphibians, birds, and they adapt to their environment. Many of these wildlife adapt to their environments by staying there and surviving, or they might move away to other places. The heat and lack of water does not deter them from living and existing and breathing and cultivating their own families. Instead, they modify or adopt their lifestyle to survive within that climate. Some remain in a period of stagnancy or dormancy for a long period, ready to become active when there's rare rainfall. Think about the depth of that for a bit. So you're in a place of stagnancy. Can you adapt to your environment? Can you hibernate? Because at some point, if you hold on long enough, and if you have hope, and if you have faith, and if you do the work, that period of drought that you're going through, that desert that you feel like you're in, will change. It's all about timing. If we think about the landforms of the desert, there are mountains, there's beautiful landscape, there's sand downs, there are expanses of rocks in different shapes, different textures. And for many of you who have gone to visit the desert, you might have several different takeaway of your experiencing walking through or going through that desert. The physical desert, the landmark. Now, your takeaway is going to be dependent on how you embraced that experience. But let's take it back to your life and the desert that you feel like you are in. In your desert, in that place of dormancy, in that place of lack of provision, you can find yourself, you can find your hope, you can find your peace. This is a place of stillness where you can hear your own voice. You can hear your own dreams. They become more clear. The journey that you are desiring ahead for your life becomes clear when you're in a place of stillness, where you have a great desire and a great need for shifting in your life. The stillness of your desert is also the place where you are silenced or is quiet enough to hear the voice of God if you listen carefully. It is also where you can hear the echoes of your thoughts, be it the truth that you speak to yourself, the positivity or the negativity, but this is a place of reflection. Use it to your advantage. You see, in the desert, some plants are tough. They adopt some animals, some birds. They're tough, so they adapt to life in the desert, that they have somewhat been able or somehow been able to survive. You can survive your desert, but surviving your desert is dependent upon how you allow that moment to determine your thought process, to determine what you do in that season, to determine how you hope in that season. There is some transformation that's taking place. And sometime in transformation, you have to be isolated. Because sometimes the chaos of life deters the true transformation that God has willed over your life. In the desert, the beauty is the sun is hot. You need vitamin D. How often do you get out of your house, get out at work, when you have lunch at work, do you step out to just take a walk, whether it be outside your office, under a tree, whatever it is? Do you take a moment to step out of your house, step out of your office space and go for a walk, or sit on your porch and just think about God's wonders? Let the sun melt within your heart. There's something about brightness. There's something about colors that taps into our spiritual being. Try it. Do you like dark curtains? Do you like wearing black? To each their own. But step out of your comfort zone and get some color in your life. That makes a big difference. Wear a bright yellow shirt for some reason. Look at yourself in the mirror. Don't just critique yourself, but step out of your home one day. Go on a grocery shopping in a color that you normally don't and determine how you feel after. The desert allows you the opportunity for outside activities. Because if you had the chance to go to the desert, chances are you're probably hiking or camping, and you are in a position that you have no other choice but to find landmark or find things around you that taps in to your spiritual being, or tap into your emotions, or explore what's available. You can look at the beauty of the structures of the rocks, the sizes, the shapes, the textures. This season that you're going through, that you consider a desert, is your season of testing. And that's okay. We all have our journeys in life. We're all going to go through testing. Will you pass your test? And even if you feel like you don't pass your test, I'm so hoarse from allergies. Even if you feel like you don't pass your test, have you learned anything during this season? Because in this season, you're being molded or transformed into something that you will take with you to your next season. Many times we have to experience our own desert so that when we are testifying or encouraging someone in their season of desert, They can trust that we understand what they're going through. We can trust that what they're telling us that worked was used and got them through that season. So stand steadfast in your season and be transformed. Your goals are going to be more clear to you. They'll become more clear. Your purpose will become more clear. Now, if you are in your season of desert and you're just complaining, oh God, why me? Why did you put me in this position? Why me? Why is everybody else getting along? Why me? Why is everyone else just flourishing around me, but I'm just here? Why me? Then you are losing the opportunity to listen to the voice of peace, the voice of God. Commune with God. Pray. Look back at those times when He came through for you. Those times when you didn't believe that He would make a way, but He did. Those times when you were at the end of your tunnel and you couldn't see the light, but He came through. Because we have a God that's merciful, but He's also looking for something from us. Do you only find God when you're in your desert? Or do you find Him when you're eating a dessert? In your desert, you feel deserted, which is understandable. Because when we're in our desert, sometimes nobody truly understands. So you have to tap in to that deeper spirituality that you have. So for me, it may be different than you. People believe in different things. But find hope. Connect with people who speaks life into your dead situation. When you're in your desert and you have a sense of hopelessness, please don't find strength in other people who are also in their desert, who has the concept of misery loves company. Find yourself in the midst of people who build you up, people who give you hope, people who tells you it's going to be okay. You just got to hold on a little bit longer. It's the craziest thing when you're going through a season where someone is giving you such hope and it's like they don't even understand that. You see, one of the things I think, because of the different seasons I've experienced in my life, in moments of unsurety, in moments when I'm tested, in moments when I am going through a season of feeling like I'm in a desert, my first opportunity is my hope in God, my faith in God, a prayer, but more so, my first opportunity is to problem solve. Is there a shifting that's taking place in that moment that I need to shift with? I can either adapt to the temperature of my trials and my tribulations as I experience them. And trials and tribulations can be taken out of context because the severity of one trial to one person may not be the same temperature for someone else. So in one season, someone may have been going to work and they missed the bus. And this changes their entire day because the bus driver saw them but just didn't wait for them to get to the bus stop. So they're pissed off at the world. How could God do that to you? Now you're late. But perspective. Maybe the next bus that you took, you sat next beside someone who was going through something that just needed to hear, good morning, how are you? Maybe there was an interaction that you had the opportunity to take advantage of so that someone can find that hope in their life. But because you were so consumed by your desert, you couldn't see what opportunity God was creating for you in that moment. And then for others, as we go through those seasons, remember that God promises that He'll fulfill all our needs. We reflect on those times in our life when He showed up. It's a practice, it's a mental thing. I don't think there is any sense of perfection in getting to a place where, at any season in your life where it's not favorable, you're always going to have peace unless you are always in your word and you have tapped into that deeper level of faith. Awesome. But for many of us, we're still working on that daily. And so as you go through today, or as you go through your desert, I want you to meditate upon the season that you're in, how you can be transformed, how you can use it as an opportunity to truly think about what God is allowing you to do, what God is molding you for. Think about how clear your visions and your dreams can become. Think about the beauty of the people, the places, the things that you come in contact with during this season. But also think about the weight and the burden that you have been carrying, that this season can allow you and give you that opportunity to unload. So remember, like in the desert where the things, the mammals, the plants, how they adopt in their environment and somehow are able to live and breathe and exist. Some stay in that environment, some move away from that environment. You have that choice. But remember, you do not have to deter your dreams, you can modify them.